What happens when a user forgets their password and they can't log in? Currently, there's nothing to handle that situation, and there's also nothing a user can do if they want to change their password. Lucky for us, Django has a bunch of pre-built stuff that we can use to build this functionality very easily. Keep in mind that this is going to be different for a development environment as opposed to an environment in production. So like a live website is going to handle this differently. Like a live website like codingwithmitch.com is going to handle it differently, slightly different than what I'm going to show you in this video. Obviously, because it's not a real website, I can't send a real email. So what I'm going to do right now is show you how to get this working and get this tested in a development environment, which is what we're working with. And then later in the course, I'm going to show you how to switch it over to a production environment. So an actual real email will get sent to the user when they want to reset their password. All right, so the first step in this process is I actually want to reference the documentation. If you want to know more about password resetting, this is the link that you want to visit. It's on the auth page default and down to the heading, this heading right here. So it says authentication views. It shows you about how to do all of this kind of login or password reset stuff. So I'm going to be showing you everything you need to in this video, but just kind of as a reference, this is where you get more information. All right, so the first step is we need to go into settings and we need to tell Django how to send a password reset email. So I'm going to go down below where it says allowed host, and I'm going to say if debug. So if it's in debug mode, which is defined by this constant right here, in other words, if it's in a fake environment, if it's in a development environment, then this is how I want to set the email backend. So I need to specify a keyword, which is email backend, and I want to write django.core.mail.backends.console.email backend. And this is what we're going to change later in later videos in this course for a production environment. So this is for only during development. During development only. Later, we're going to have an else. So I'll have an else statement here, and we'll specify a different situation. That's going to be the production situation. But anyway, just save that for now so that we can actually test this. Next, let's open up urls.py. Now, as I said, in the documentation, it shows you a number of ways that you can set up this password reset functionality. The easiest way is to do this. If you literally just do this, I could just show you. I think actually I can just copy. I'll just show you really quick. I'm pretty sure if I just literally copy paste this in and I save it, we'll have some really basic password reset stuff. So I could do account dot, I think it said accounts. I can just change this to account / reset password, I think is one of the URLs, or maybe it's password reset. Oh, I forgot an import. We need to have include there. So now if I refresh that, we actually do get this is kind of the Django built-in password reset stuff, and I think you can do password change also. Yeah, so this is pre-built stuff that you can just use. It's like it will automatically just do it for you. The only kind of downside with this is it interferes with currently the way that we're handling login and registration. So I'll show you an example. So if I was to, what am I don't know who I'm authenticated with. I think I'm authenticated with the admin. I'll just do a password. No, I'll do a password change, because I think that will interfere with it. So if I do password change, the old password is, I think it's just password. I'll change the new to a different password, too similar to the email. Okay, try that again. Okay, try that. Password was changed. So I guess that works, but this interface is kind of ugly, and it takes me to the admin also. So log in again. Yeah, I mean, I just don't like how it kind of forces you to, it doesn't look nice, I guess. And I'm pretty sure if you, yeah, see there, it screws with the templates. So yeah, so now if I click login, it intercepts that login URL and messes around with it. So that's why we kind of have to do something custom. I knew there was something it did that wasn't good. So anyway, so we can't use this because it interferes with our login, logout, register, all that kind of system. So what we're going to do is we're going to leverage the Django stuff that comes pre-packaged, but we're going to make some kind of custom changes to it. So at the top here, I'm going to import something. So from Django.contrib dot auth. I want to import views. So I'm importing some auth views as auth views. Now down here, I'm going to define some URLs. And I'm actually just going to copy these from the source code because there's a whole bunch of them and I don't want to sit here and copy them on camera or write them out on camera because there's a bunch of them. So let's go to the source code. I'm going to the blog course. I'm going to go to the branch, which is reset password and change password. Going down into source, let's go into my site and URLs. And now I'm going to copy all of these URLs. So all of these right here. So I'm pressing Control C on those, going back to the project and pasting those in. So making sure the spacing is good, that's all fine. So now what are these? So these I'm sure are quite confusing to you. So let's add some space in between these just so you can kind of see them better because it's kind of busy looking. And I'm going to talk about each one of these. So basically what we're doing is we're leveraging the pre-built views that Django has in the contrib auth section, or contrib auth package, I guess you would call it, but we're customizing them. So what I'm doing is I'm defining some URLs. These are URLs that must be defined. If I take a look at the Django documentation, it's all of these URLs right here. The only difference is I'm not adding accounts to the front of them, so I don't have to have this. This is all customizable. So basically, and I'm leaving these two out because we have two URLs already for logging in and logging out. So these ones are the ones that I'm interested in. It's for changing the password, what happens when the password is successfully changed, for resetting the password, what happens when the password is successfully reset, all that kind of stuff. And I basically use the exact same URLs that they specify here. So the only kind of difference here is that I'm specifying, or I'm referencing the custom views that Django has pre-built. So I'm referencing the auth views import that I have, and let's take a look at that class just so you know what I'm talking about. So this is the class right here. You can get it at this URL. It's from the actual Django documentation on GitHub. So here is all of the views that I'm referencing. We're leaving out login view because we already built one. We're leaving that out. We're leaving out logout view. We need all the other views. So there's like password. Oh, don't need that one. We need password reset view, which I have. If I go here, we have password change view, password complete, password reset view right there, and password reset done view. So password, where is it? Password reset complete view. Oh, you can actually use password reset complete view instead of password reset done. They're basically the same. Then you have password reset confirm view. That should be another one right there. Scrolling down. Anyway, you get the idea. Basically, I'm using all of the views that they have created in the Django docs, or in the Django source code. And then inside the views, I'm referencing custom templates that we are going to build. So remember when I showed you on the website when they had those. They had kind of already those pre-built screens. Well, I don't like the way those look, so I want to make our own custom ones. So all you need to do is specify a template name that will be inflated when these views are used. So I haven't created those yet. That's going to be kind of the next step. But that's pretty much it. And then of course you have the name, which is referenced through a URL. And you need to use these exact names or it won't work properly because there's a lot of stuff kind of happening behind the scenes. So the next step, now that we have all of these URLs built with their views from the Django source code, now we need to build these templates to customize what the password resets look like. And just kind of as a FYI, if you're confused about what I'm doing, you can literally just copy this word for word and put this into your project and it will work perfectly. And you'll see by the end of this video, everything kind of come together. So now what are these templates? We need to add these templates. So I'm going to go into our templates directory. I'm going to create a new folder, and this is going to be called registration. And inside registration is where we're going to put all of these password reset templates. So once again, I'm going to go to the source code because I don't want to type these all out. So I'm going to source. I have the branch reset password. What is it? Reset password, change password, Django. Going into templates and going into registration. And all of these I need to copy. Just literally copy them word for word and add them to the project. So password change.html is the first one. So I'm going to go new file, save it, password change.html, save that. The next one's password change done. So I'm just going to copy this name, new file, save, password change done.html. password reset complete.html, new file, same thing, save it. Next one, password reset done. And these are all named to fit the URLs here. So make sure that the naming is exactly the same. Next one is password reset email. New file, save, password reset email. And I'm going to be copying the code into them after I save all these. So new file, save, password reset form, and then password reset subject. This is for actually, it's a TXT file because it's this is what gets sent when you actually send the email to the user. So now let's copy all the code. So password change is the first one. Password change. I'm literally just copying this. I'm not even. I'll come back and talk about them after, but just add them in and save them for now. Next is password reset email. Password reset email. Again, just copying all of that, pasting it in, saving it. Password reset form. Going back. Password reset form, copying all this, pasting it in, saving it. Password reset subject is the next one. Going here, coding with which password reset. So this is what's going to be the subject line of the email that they get sent. Next is password change done. So password change done, click that, copy, whoops, copy that, paste, save. Let's see what's next. I'm running out of space here. Next one is password reset complete. Password reset complete. And you don't have to do these in any particular order. I'm just kind of going through them. Oh, I just closed one. There was no room. I think I almost got them all. I'm going to close a bunch of these. And I'm going to open them one by one when we look at them. So password change, that's done. Change done, complete. Reset done, that's the one. Password reset done. Password reset done. I think this is the last one. So copying all that, pasting it in, saving it. Let's just check to make sure they're all done. And they are all done. Okay, so those are all of the templates that are being referenced inside of urls.py so that we have this kind of these custom views that are going to get inflated when we try to change our password. So now if I go back to our project and I refresh, I can go like password change. Oh, it's because I'm not logged in. So obviously you can't try and change someone's password who's not logged in. So let me log in and then do change password. Or is it password change? Should be password change. Okay. So there we go. There is the reset. There are this should actually say change password, not reset password. So that's an incorrect template, it looks like. So what happens if I do password reset? That's correct. So it's supposed to say reset password. Let me just fix that password change template. So this one is password change. Should be just this one. Should say change password. Maybe say update. So if I go to password change password, there we go. So that should be good. So that was a lot of stuff. I'm sure you're kind of confused, but I'm going to just test it and then I'm going to go back and talk more about it. So first of all, let's try to, I guess we can try and change a password. So I'll type my current one and I'll type a new one. And it says password change done, not found. So one of the URLs is missing. So let's go into URLs. It says password change done is not found. Password change done. So I'm looking for a name that says password change done. So we don't have, so I'm looking at the name parameters here and none of them say password change done, meaning that I'm missing one. Unless one is just, or it's named incorrectly actually. It says password change complete, but I think it should say password change done. So change this to password change done. I'm going to save that, go back to the project, and I'm going to try that again. So go to password change. Oh, I'm not logged in. Again, same problem. Okay, what did I change that to? password change. So now let's try this again. So the password did actually change, by the way. It just didn't direct me to the right page afterwards. I entered the incorrect. There we go. So now it redirected me to the correct screen and actually authentic. And I'm already authenticated. Your password has been set. You may go ahead and sign in now. That should change too. That doesn't, because I'm already signed in since I changed the password. So let's change this also. Your password has been set. You may go ahead and sign in now. So that's going to be this template right here. Password change done. Password change done. That's this one. I don't need to sign in. So I can just say your password has been updated. That should be fine. Your password has been updated. All right. So that was changing a password. Now let's try to reset a password if they forgot one. So I'm going to log out, go to password reset, and type my email address, send reset email. It says we've emailed you instructions for resetting the password. Do check your spam folder. So what this does is, because we're not using a production environment, is the email gets sent to the console. So the reset link is right here. So I can highlight that, press Control-C to copy it, and I can paste it into a browser. And this is now where I can reset the password. So I can type a new password and see what happens. It says your password has been reset. You may go ahead and sign in now, and then try and sign in with that new password. There we go. Works just like it's supposed to. Whoops, one more thing I forgot to do is inside of account, we need a way to get to the password reset form and also the password change form. So in the account screen, we want a link down here that says change password, and also on the login screen. So if I log out, my server is not working. I'm going to restart it. So if I log out and I go to the login screen, there should be a forgot password link there. So, okay, so let's go to templates, account. We'll do the account screen first. Just below the form, I want to do a password change link. So div, inside the div, I'll do class dflex and flex column to center it. And then I want to do the link is going to be to the password change URL. So URL password change is the name. Remember, if we look at my site and go to password change, that's the name of the URL right there. So that's the one that I'm referencing. And just write change password. And we need to give this a margin of auto, or else it won't center properly. So M auto. So if I save that, go to our project. Actually, I'll do the other page first, and then we'll check both of them. So I'm going to go to the login screen now, and I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. So I'm copying that, going below the form, pasting that in. This will be, instead of password change, it will be forgot password. So I think the name is password reset. So password reset, and I'll just say reset password. So save that, go back to the project, refresh. There's that reset link, takes us to the reset page. If I log in with one of the users, I go to the account, there's the change password link, and there's where I can change the password. So now everything is working as we expect. So now I'm sure you're kind of confused. We did a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's working behind the scenes. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes here talking about kind of how this works. So number one is how, as you know, kind of I'm overriding some of the default password change views that are available with Django, and I'm specifying custom templates for what I want to see in those views. Because otherwise, like the change or the password change screen would not look like this. It would look like that kind of default Django one, just like the password reset one also, it would not look like this. So I've specified custom templates. So how do I make those custom templates? Well, let's go take a look here. So let's look at the password change form first of all. So obviously I just copy pasted this from the source code, but some of this stuff is actually really important. The CSS is only important for the styling. It's not important for how it works. So that's just kind of know that. Now let's take a look at the form. Some of the parameters in here need to have these names. So one of the inputs needs to have the name old password. One of the inputs needs to have the name new password 1, and one has to have the name new password 2. These are required. So if you ever want a password change form, you need to have inputs that match these parameters. You can style them differently, but they have to have these names and these, I believe they have to have these IDs too. So make sure that those are the same. And then the errors, you're already familiar with how we print out errors, so that's nothing new. So that's kind of how that works. The key concept here is that you have to have the same names and the same IDs if you're going to build a custom form. Next is the change form. That's the only kind of different one. So the reset form. So password reset form. And this is the same sort of thing. It needs to have an email field that is required. That's pretty much the only thing that's required. Other than that, just a regular old form with some custom styling. Nothing fancy. The other ones are, there's no form, so there's no real like thing you have to do other than the password reset email. So some of these parameters this is what the user is going to see. As you saw in the console, it says to initiate the password reset process for your account, blah, 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 blah. Here's the link, click the link. This will get emailed to the user. This will get emailed right here, which is what you see here in this password reset email. So you have kind of some key stuff in here. You have the protocol, domain, password reset confirmation, the UID, the token. This is required. You have to have this. This can be whatever you want. This can be whatever you want. This can be whatever you want. You need to have this and you need to have this. So just kind of copying this format for sending an email to the users. Other than that, the only other thing that's custom is the subject. This would be the subject of the email that they're going to receive. So that is kind of it. Like I said, the only other thing you need to remember is right now we're using the development backend for sending the email. That's why it's sending to the console instead of actually sending a real email. But later in the course, when we push the server to production, so when we actually put it live on the internet, just like codingwithmitch.com is, I will set it up so that it sends a real email and it doesn't just send it to the console, because obviously that's not helpful. So at this point, we have all of the basic user authentication stuff all ready to go. Now it's time to work on the next piece of functionality, which is going to be blog posting. So we have all the user stuff. Now we're going to enable users. We're going to give users the ability to create blog posts, and there'll also be like a feed where it shows all of the blog posts that have been created by the users. And there's going to be images, there'll be a description. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to make yet, but definitely images, definitely a description, and they'll all show up in the feed. Users will be able to update them, they'll be able to delete them, and obviously create them.